Hi guys, this is Charles again. This is my assignment for the fifth week um, with Professor Baskiran. Good morning. The question goes, document some of the common breaches of electronic or digitized PHI. Refer to online government reporting resources to give us examples and suggest probable solutions to address these breaches and what laws were breached in the process. So the first thing I did was I wanted to actually explain what a PHI really means. A PHI is an acronym for Protected Health Information. And health information is said to be unsecured or insecure when it's not coded properly as per the government standards. Disclosure of the PHI that interrupts the privacy rule is considered to be a breach. If there's a breach in the PHI by any individual, the following steps are ensured to manage the breach. In the United States, personal or protected health information are either done electronic, through say like paper or oral form, and it's protected by the iTech Act and the EPA. In recent years, personal health information has become a popular target for criminal computer attacks. Common breaches of digital, electronic, and digitized PHI includes cybercrime hacking. So hacking simply means gaining of unauthorized access to the data in a system or computer. An external hacker, gains access to an organization's network, sometimes to obtain unauthorized access to sensitive patient information. Some actually do it for personal gratification for fun. Some do it for say like they just want to steal some information. Some do that to act to disrupt. Um, I also made mention of another breach, which is called the loss or theft of mobile device or media. And this type of breach, this actually requires a government worker or staff can either lose or steal a device from the office which contains sensitive patient information, and this might actually result in potential unauthorized access to the information on the breach. Another breach could be said to be like a worker's negligence. This works with the way a government worker performs a well-intentioned action that results in an unauthorized access to sensitive patient information. If an establishment doesn't self-report this breach, it is considered an intentional or willful neglect. If the unreported breach is found during a EPA audit, the company is liable to face a minimum of $10,000 per violation. So, in essence, any kind of breach has to be reported as soon as possible. Another breach is called a third-party associate. This kind of breach occurs when a third-party organization contracts with your company, which involves unauthorized access to sensitive patient information. Okay, so I made mention of solution of the breaches. The first thing I said was more in conducting a risk assessment. While we actually do this, we try to find more like a solution. One has to figure out the source of this problem. Where is this problem coming out from? Where does it originate from? One has to perform a risk analysis to determine the nature and scope of the security breach and how the breach commenced. First, we have to identify the assets. The second step is more to decide who might be armed and how they were armed. Thirdly, we can evaluate the risk and decide on precautions. The first step involves recording your findings and implement them. And finally, reviewing your assessment and update it if necessary. Another solution will be during the vulnerability identification. One is to know who exactly is responsible for such breach. Was it kind of an internal attack? Was it personal? Was it an external hacker that actually did it? When did the breach occur? Like, what was the timing? Was it like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Was it just sudden? How the breach occurred? Was it the server of the system that was tracked? Did an employer unlawfully access information? So those are actually what we want to take note of while getting the vulnerabilities studied on. Another solution is establishing a good legal counsel. On this path, an individual or a worker that actually works within an organization will need to seek assistance from legal and security professionals. The proper team can review your notification plan, and they can help you draft communication related to that breach. Another one I talked about would be to provide continued EPR education to the staffs. The workers or the staff or an organization needs to actually understand the way EPR works. They need to know the benefit. They need to know the advantages of the EPR. They need to be educated so they could clearly understand what it entails and how it can be beneficial to the health professionals as a whole. I talked about monitor devices and records. The organization have to have the security team that monitors devices and records of the patient information. Another great solution is actually when you develop the strict BYD, which is bring your own device. You can advise the staff or worker bring their own devices like their computers, their mobile apps, their mobile phones, and they can actually connect safely through the computer. Encrypting data and hardware too is also a part of the solution. The organization should create an awareness for encrypting data and hardware, thereby making it unreadable to those without a passphrase or digital keys to decode or unlock it. The last one I talked about was holding the business associates accountable for IT security policies too as well, which is also a great feature too. So some organizations action that needs to be considered while addressing risk will be like, say you're trying to restore data from clean backups, or you're trying to reformat active devices, you're trying to update all accounts with new and secure passwords. Another solution is subnetting the wireless network. Subnetting was actually developed to reduce the use of unused IP addresses, which allows the IT professionals to set aside nodes for future use. I talked about managing identity and access stringently. It kind of creates an awareness where workers can manage their identities and also access information stringently. Yeah. The last one I talked about was examine the service level agreement carefully. It helps you to manage the organization level, the management company, and also the tiers of the staff. So the last question says the laws which were breached. And what is the laws that were breached? The EPR, which is the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act rule, which requires that EPR covered entities and their business associates to provide notification following a breach of unsecured protected health information. The PHI, which is the protected personal health information, was also breached. The FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, too, was also a law that was also breached. The FTC rules regarding breaches of data stored by web-bought consumer, which are by the vendors, which are the personal health vendors like EHR and EMR. However, the FTL rules only apply to the PHR companies that are not subject to EPR. The rules apply to vendors of protected health information. Another law that was actually breached was the IFEC, and that's the Health Information Technology for the Economic and Clinical Acts. Another law is the Medical Data Breach. Thank you.